Okay, we are here today for a Frequency Tools workshop. Thank you for coming. My name is Melinda Lou. Okay, so where did my thing just go? Technical difficulties. There it is. We're back. Okay, I'm Melinda Lou. I've been a massage therapist for 25 years. I've been a massage success coach for 10 years. And as we're looking at the screen at the massage therapist career cycle, I started out as a student when I was 21 years old. So I got into the field pretty young, and I was very, very fortunate to learn master student style under what I think of as, master healers and practitioners and teachers and mentors who took me under their wing as an apprentice and really brought me along throughout my entire career. So I feel really fortunate that that was my introduction to the field, and my experience learning in the field is kind of the old way the healing arts used to be taught is, master student style. And so that's given me kind of a unique perspective and given me a lot of pearls of wisdom to share with the massage industry. And those mentors of mine are Stephen and Erica Rogers with Shen Life. So I owe a lot of my knowledge and insight and all the experience of the 25 years. I owe it to them. They were actually the first ones who really encouraged me to be a massage therapist and a coach and really all the things that I have experienced in my 25-year career. So that is really meaningful and fortunate that I started out as a student at a really high standard of excellence, in my opinion. And then that really set me in a position to be in my peak years of my career where I've worked in a variety of different ways. I had a wellness center with a staff, and I taught yoga or, integrative movement. I've also been a health coach. I've had various private practices in different states of the country. I went to massage school twice because my California hours didn't transfer to Connecticut. When I had to go to school a second time, I did realize the difference in my education and training versus when a franchise bought out a school in Connecticut, and the difference in quality of education. Basically, it inspired me to want to teach and bring a higher standard of excellence as a coach, as a teacher to the massage industry. And then in 2016, I became known as the six-figure massage mentor. And that's because at that point in my career, I was earning over six figures in my private practice and feeling like I wanted to help others do the same. And that was really how I started as a coach, was helping massage therapists leave the franchises or the spa or the chiropractor, opening their practice and earning six figures in their practice. And so I started that in 2016. And then I would say around that same time, I also became interested in frequency tools. And the first frequency tool that I was exposed to was the biomat, the Richway infrared biomat, which is kind of the original infrared amethyst crystal mat. And so I kind of call that my gateway drug into frequency tools, because it added so much to my practice and I loved it. And it was so easy to just turn it on. And my clients had a much better experience, going into parasympathetic mode. And I felt like it added a lot to the session, it added value to my sessions. And then I kind of got into a little bit of frequency patch therapies. There was something called amino neurofrequency therapy. I don't know if they're around anymore, but it was, this idea that you could have patches on the body that help to absorb specific frequencies. And I was getting into sound therapy and sound healing a little bit. So at that time, I was also in my peak years of my career seeking ways to save my hands. And I remember just my hands aching doing, 20, 25 sessions a week. And in my mid 30s or mid to late 30s, already having sort of like aches and pains, early signs of arthritis. So, of course, I was seeking tools to save my hands and ways to still get my clients great results. And that's where the cupping came in and I used fascia blasters and all kinds of CBD salves and magnesium creams. And I was just trying to do all the things to save my hands and help my clients get a better result. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and that's when I decided to move to Tennessee. And I would say that was when I kind of hit my transition phase of my career, where I knew that I didn't really want to go completely to full-time massage hours again. This is where I wanted to earn multiple revenue streams. And at that point is when I became introduced to Solex, which was a company that was offering bioresonance software and various frequency tools. And I took it as an opportunity in 2021 to start earning, a side revenue stream with this company called Solex. And so I was helping my clients with this bioresonance software, and also massage therapists at the time were still following me. I hadn't started coaching again quite yet, but I was sharing about this really cool AOScan software and the Solex frequency tools online. And so then all these massage therapists were like, "Hey, can you tell me about that? What are you up to these days?" And then over the course of several years, a lot of massage therapists became involved in the Solex tools. And so my whole group of Solex people that are involved in this are all massage therapists using these tools in their practice, and they love them. Really, it's been such a hit. Everybody loves it. Everybody thinks it's great. Their clients love it. It's adding to their sessions. It's helping them have other revenue streams in their practice. And so that's how this became a thing. And then I actually did hit my exit years for massage, specifically hands off, when I started coaching more full-time hours in 23. And I also became a thermographer. So thermography was a way for me to continue as a practitioner, and to be honest, make a lot of money for the time. Like it's really part-time hours, but it's really good money. And I was just thinking about myself getting old and wanting to make easy money as I get old. And so that's where thermography came in. But since I started coaching again in 23, it's been really fun and exciting to work with massage therapists all over the country, really at any stage of their career. So I do work with massage therapists as a coach, whether they're at a student level, a peak, novice, peak, transition, and exit. So my claim to fame is that I can help any massage therapist at any stage of their career reach their next level of success. So when we're talking about frequency tools, I mean, this really could apply if you're just starting out as a massage therapist and you're just trying to learn something new that you could add to your client sessions. Great. Maybe you're already in your peak years, and kind of like when I was open to tools to save my hands, I was just trying to, not have early arthritis. Maybe you're in your transition years and you want to have multiple revenue streams in addition to massage therapy, and you're going to try to start to cut massage hours while you're growing these other streams. Maybe you're in your exit stage, possibly, where you're like, what can I do instead of massage therapy? And that's where frequency tools can be an option. But also, I really like thermography as a retirement career for massage therapists. And so I want to just let you know that I have all of this information and resources available for you, whatever stage of your career you're at. And now you know my whole career cycle that I've been through. So maybe in chat, can you tell me, where do you think you are in the career cycle? Where do you think you are? And how do you think maybe frequency tools might fit into the mix here? If you want to just share in chat. Okay, Charlotte says she's heard of the biomat. Yes, most people have heard of the biomat, have seen the biomat. We are going to talk about that today. All right. Okay, we're not sharing where we're at in our career cycle, but mentally, okay. Oh, Charlotte's at her peak, trying to transition to Ashiatsu or something. Dawn Horns in transition, exit. Okay, here we go. Energy work, sound healing, just got licensed. Congratulations. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like this helps us understand where we're at in our career because, maybe you're not new at this. Maybe you are new at this. Okay, great.
How are those formulas?
Okay, let's move on. All right. Well, actually, before I show you this, I kind of want to share first what are frequency therapy tools. So, some people mentioned here they've heard of infrared mats, they've heard of sound healing, they've heard of singing bowls or tuning forks. So, if you think of massage modalities, it's going to be easy for you to understand frequency because there's so many massage modalities. There's so many different types of myofascial therapy. There's so many different types of energy therapies. I don't even know how many massage modalities there are. Are there hundreds? There's a lot. And they're all a little bit different, but they're all kind of generally in the category of soft tissue manipulation. How many ways can you work on the rotator cuff? 100 different ways, depending on the modality. And so it's like all in the same genre, but there's just differences and different focuses. So the frequency medicine or frequency tool genre is the same in that there's light therapies, there's sound therapies, there's different wavelengths across the spectrum. That would be like infrared or terahertz. There's microcurrent. So there's different types of frequency tools and therapies. And, I'm trying to pick generally for massage therapists tools that are easy to use and easy to implement, meaning there's not a big learning curve. You can just turn the thing on and have it work. And also a price point that isn't super cheap because we generally want really quality products if you're going to get a quality result. But I'm not really promoting anything over $2,000. So you can get into these big, large machines that are easily $10,000 and upwards of $100,000. And that would be something like a red light bed that is kind of like a tanning bed, but has all of the wavelengths of red light and different types of light. We have a friend that has a bed like that, and she did pay $100,000 for that. I'm assuming that you don't want to hear about a category like that, but if you do, I can refer you out. So the tools that I'm recommending for therapists are anywhere from like $150 all the way up to $2,000, and that's the price range. And then also, I'm choosing a company of tools that will pay high commissions should we choose to sell these in our practice to our massage clients. I really like that concept, especially we're in this age where it's social selling. You can sell these things online. If you have a social media following, you can sell them to your clients in person, family, friends, etc., and earn commissions. And so when it comes to product sales, usually when it comes to earning commissions, there's affiliate and there's network marketing. And affiliate marketing tends to give like 10% commission. Maybe some of them are getting a more generous 15% or so. But from what I've seen, the network marketing companies are paying a lot more, 20%, 30%, and 40% in some cases. So they're more generous. And what I like about this particular company, Solex, is you can choose to either be an affiliate or you can choose to do the classic network marketing model where you build a downline. So personally for me, I really like being an affiliate. An affiliate means I just share my website link and people can buy off of my website. And then when they buy, I get a commission. And that's so easy and that's so simple. And that's exactly how the affiliate model is set up too. You get a link, you share it on the internet, or you share it in an email, or you text it to your client, and then they purchase something, and then you get money in your account. And so I like how simple and easy affiliate is. But again, if you want to do the network marketing thing, you can build a downline, you can build a sales team, and all of that. So you kind of have the option with what you choose to do, which is nice. So let's now go into Solex tools. What are these different tools I'm talking about? Okay. So again, they're going to check off all the boxes that I just mentioned. I'm going to start with some of the red light tools first. Let me move this out of the way. We're all familiar with red light, right? Put in chat, you must have heard of red light at this point. It's so trendy. It's very popular. Red light. What do you know about red light? Tell me what you already know about red light. What is it good for? Why do people like it? Have you tried red light? What kind of red light have you tried? Okay. Muscle recovery, infrared light. I have a red light box for my clients. Nice. Skin healing, yes. Yes. Okay. I think red light is very complimentary for massage therapy because most of our clients are coming for pain relief, aches and pains, right? Various levels of pain. And so red light, I think, is wonderful for pain. There's a long list of benefits. It is really great for skin. So let me just start with the Solex 660 band. They created this specifically for blood, light therapy for your blood. And so it's basically like a wristband. You wear it over your wrist. And as you guys know, we have our four major arteries and veins. Right here, thin skin. So light can easily penetrate this thin skin right into your vein and artery. And so they chose 660 and 605 wavelengths. And I don't know if you know that photobiomodulation, which is a fancy term for light therapy, has been popularized for IVs. So some people will actually get um, an IV where there's light therapy affecting the blood, and they're trying to get these wavelengths to help with their blood, whether it's for oxygenation or cleansing. But basically, you can just get the same type of benefit without an IV. And so that's where the 660 band comes in. So how have I added this to a session? I've just put it on my client's wrist. I'll just put it on their wrist while they're prone, and it's doing its job helping to red light their blood. I personally think it helps with lowering inflammation in the body. So it's kind of more of a systemic effect as your blood flows through your whole body and you're red lighting the blood. It just helps to lower inflammation overall. Some people do use it for pain for spot. It's not really designed for that, but we have them at home. And so actually, if you're using it at home, you can place it on your upper trap for pain relief. I had a swollen lymph node in my axilla recently, so I placed it over a swollen lymph node. So you can use it as a spot treatment if you want to, but that's how I add it to a session. And then as you see, the retail price is $180. So if you were to sell it to your client, that's what you would sell it to them for as a retail price, 180. And then I'll tell you the commission on that is $75, which I think is a really high commission
Yeah.
for a little tool. So I mean, $75 is practically how much you get paid for a massage, right? Or, a good portion of it. And it's something that your client can use at home if they're going to wear it over their wrist or if they're going to use it as a spot treatment over their little aches and pains. You could charge an add-on fee, Jessica. It's up to you. When it comes to add-ons, I was just talking to Don earlier, or somebody earlier, almost all my coaching clients, generally, you're gonna charge a higher rate, like a higher amount, and then just include all of your add-ons and bells and whistles, or you're gonna charge like a medium to low rate and then you're going to add on for these extra bells and whistles. It's up to you, however you structure your practice, either or. But this one, I like this to start, introduce. It's small but mighty, and it's easy, and it's generally a lower price point. So I think this is kind of an easy sell. I'm only going to really focus on the things that I think make sense for a massage therapist to introduce to their clients, either to the service itself and or to sell to their clients, something that people will actually use at home. And it's just easy, right? You just put it on your wrist, you turn it on, that's it. And we use it every morning ourselves. We love it. So that's the 660 band. And 660 is referring to the wavelength for the red light. Okay, so let's go back to the other red light tools. So we have a typical red light mask. Maybe you guys have seen these in the beauty industry. They're very popular for skin and beauty, right? But what's kind of cool about this one is they made it really flexible. So if you wanted to put it over your back or your abdomen, or any part of your body, it's flexible enough that you could still use it for spot treatment, and it's a larger surface area than the 660 band. So it does have all of these different wavelengths. I guess what makes this one different is that it has 5 different wavelength options. And the infrared in particular are the wavelengths that penetrate deep into the muscles. So those are really the ones for pain relief and for penetrating deep into the body. The red light is also good for pain, but that one's good for collagen production. Green light, I believe, is for like brightening the skin. Blue is typically for like antibacterial, like people use it for acne. But anyways, you can choose which wavelengths you want it to focus on. And it also comes with a neck strap. So, that can either be in the front of your neck, or you could spin the whole thing around and have it for the back of your neck if people have neck pain or like migraines, right? So this is a good one that I think would also be useful either in your session and or for your clients to use at home. And the price point on this is just under 500. When Solex came out with this, they said the competitor masks that would be at this quality would be in the $1,000 price range. So their whole claim is we're going to try and create these amazing high quality frequency tools, and we're going to try and undercut everybody else with lower prices. So I do think Solex prices are really good for the quality that they're putting out. And what else can I say about this? Yeah, basically, it's pretty flexible if they want to just use it for their face or if they want to use it on the rest of their body. So the commission on this one is $222. That is so generous. I don't know any other company that's paying these really crazy high commissions. $222. I mean, don't you think some of your clients would want to buy this for Christmas or as a gift for somebody? Light therapy in scope for Idaho. Have you dealt with that? I don't know every state's scope, but I do know that these things are sold to the general public. So you could say it's practitioner quality. I would say it's practitioner quality, but lay people can just buy this. In other words, your clients in Idaho can just buy this themselves. So it's that safe. You can't hurt anybody with this. All right, let's move on to other red light. We're just going to stay in the red light category here. Okay, this one they sold out right away, probably because everybody wants to red light their back. So they made one as a back wrap. And you can wrap it around your waist, or you can just lay it across your spine. You can kind of see how big it is here. And it's all the same wavelengths as the other red light mask. So it has the infrared, deep penetrating lights, and it's just a much larger surface area. So you could definitely lay that across someone's back while you're working on their legs and their feet, wherever. If you want to use this in a session, you can see how big it is. Just a bigger surface area. This is $343, and the commission on this one is $155. Okay, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep throwing through these options. but I think this would be an easy purchase too. Clients are going to have aches and pains in between their sessions with you, right? And what are they going to do if it's 8 o'clock at night and they can't book a session with you and they're in pain? That's where I feel like this is very practical and useful. I used to joke with my clients, over 40, everyone should have a whole like PT office in their home where it's like different self-care tools and ways to kind of fix themselves up in between sessions with you. Nothing will ever replace your massage sessions, of course. But in between, maybe they're only coming in once a month. Maybe they're only coming in every other week. It's just nice for them to have something at home. The back would be great. I've had clients with burns from heating pads. Yeah, you can't burn yourself with these things. So, they're safe and way more therapeutic than the standard heating pad. Light therapy, there's tons of research. I'm not really a science and research person, but I believe on the Solex blog, they have several links to scientific research on light therapy. So if you are a science and research person, there's so much science and research behind light therapy. Okay, they have one for your hand. So this is basically the same thing in a glove, and this would be good for arthritis. It would be good for massage therapists whose hands are aching. Anybody's? Anyone have achy hands, sore fingers? So here, arthritis, repetitive strain, post-activity soreness. Anyone that works with their hands. Okay, so you could use this for yourself, or if you have any clients that you think have, hand fatigue or arthritis, etc. This one's 218. So I think these price points are generally doable for clients if they're going to buy something for home use. It's not a hard sell. The commission on this one is $98. Again, these are really high commissions. It's hard to find any other company that pays this high. Uh, does it have pulsing programs to not run too long? I do believe there's timers. I think the timer is 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So if you wanted to go beyond that, you'd have to, start it again. Otherwise, I think it already turns off after 20 or 30 minutes. Okay, there's the glove. So there's that one. And there's a pet one. Yay, dogs and cats. This one is just really cute. If you or your clients have dogs or cats that need light therapy, it's also good for pets. So they have aches and pains too. It's $243 for the pet one, and the commission on that, oh, I don't have that one written down, but it's a little less than half. It's probably 100 something. Anyways, I can find that out if you're curious. Okay, so those are the big red light tools. There's some smaller red light tools. I think I forgot one. It's called the illuminator. Let's go back here. This is more of a spot tool. If you had a small area of the body, see how small the head is on this. This is really good for the face. It's actually really good for scars. I don't know if you guys do scar tissue work for like cesarean scars or surgical scars, but it's good for spot treatment because it's really focused. This one is $436. And the commission on this one is $197. Like I said, I have a swollen lymph node right now, so I've been using this also on my swollen lymph node. I mean, think about any of your clients that have just like pain in a small area that you would want like focused red light therapy. A lot of people use this for the face, though, I would say, for wrinkles and age spots and scars, acne, things like that. Okay, so that's pretty much the red light. I said most people kind of generally know what red light is. It's very popular, it's very trendy. I do think this company in particular brings really high quality tools at a decent, affordable price. And if you're getting paid on these things because you're selling them to your clients, really high commission. So let's go into some of the higher end tools, which are, I say higher end because they're just a higher price point. This one I think is really practical for massage therapists. Basically, it's their version of a biomat. So I actually have the original biomat, which I told you, and that one is infrared heat therapy. This one is also infrared heat therapy and PEMF. So it has two technologies, the infrared heat and low intensity PEMF. So I'm going to explain what those are. Jessica, the answer is yes or both to that. Both. Um, PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic frequency therapy. And on this particular mat, there's four different wavelengths they're focusing on. And it's in the blog. Let me go to the blog real quick. So there's different focuses, like one is for pain, one is for mood, one is for sleep. And so depending on the state that you want your client to experience, you can just choose which wavelength you want it to be. It's low intensity, so it's safer than some of the stronger PEMF mats out there, which I like because, we want to lean towards safety versus, blasting people. There are some frequency therapies out there that are really strong that will put people into a Herx reaction or a detox. If their nervous system can't handle really strong frequencies, then it can be harmful. So I lean towards anything that's low intensity or just I'm not able to hurt anybody with it, right? Like we need to be safe with this. So this one is low intensity traveling PEMF. There's the chakras gemstone, so it has all these gemstones. And then let's get down here to the different frequencies. So here's the 3 hertz is the green light. That's for delta brainwave for relaxation and falling asleep. So if you have someone and they're like, I have insomnia, I haven't been able to sleep, I actually hope that I fall asleep during the session because I'm so sleep deprived. That would be a good wavelength for them. Blue light is the theta brainwave for dreaming. It's also just, relaxing, putting them into that altered state of dream. And then there's yellow light for dopamine and helping with depression. So this one is good if people are feeling a little bluesy, like seasonal affective disorder, seasonal depression, or whatever. Maybe they're going through something difficult and they need a little mood boost. And then we have the red light, which this one says it's good for focusing on alertness and mental function. I think this is also really good for pain. So you can choose if you want to add the different wavelengths based on whatever the client is presenting. I really like these mats to just switch out your regular heating pad. Basically, you're just upgrading because most people already have a heating pad on their table because no one likes to be freezing during their massage, right? And everyone's undressed, so we're, making sure they're nice and cozy, especially we're heading into winter. So I remember when I upgraded my regular fleece heating pad to, one of these fancy infrared heat therapy, and it was a big difference. And I'll tell you why it was a big difference because I felt like they would go into parasympathetic mode faster. I would tell them like you can't fight this relaxation, like you're gonna be forced to relax. Like it or not, like you're gonna be letting go here anytime soon. So I don't know if you've had those clients where you feel like you're wrestling with them to try and get them to relax the whole session and they're like a clenched fist that won't let go. It really helps with these people. And it's just this other level of therapy that's working on them while you're also working on them. And so they are just able to let go. And when they let go, they're more receptive to the body work. So that's like one of the main reasons that I noticed when I switched out the mat was they were able to let go faster, able to go into parasympathetic, and then obviously their tissues were really warm because infrared heat penetrates deep into the tissue. Your standard heating pad only penetrates the surface of the skin. So, their tissues were more warm and pliable, especially, let's say you start them supine and maybe you work on the feet first. Maybe you do a little scalp and then you flip them prone. Well, now the back of the body is nice and warm. So it just helps if you're using heat in your session already. I really like these. So let's get to the price on this. Your clients would pay 1,600 if they were to buy this for their home use, and then the commission on that would be $778. Woo! Woo! Can we get a amen? I'm excited about that. And I think this is an easy sell too, only because if your clients love it on your table, wouldn't they want it at home also? I mean, it is heavy. It's full of crystals. They are going to have it laid out somewhere, either on an extra guest bed or on a corner somewhere or on the couch or something, so that it's convenient because taking it out, putting it in, it's just big and heavy because it's full of gemstones, which is also why if you're a mobile therapist, it's a little bit big and bulky to drag around to people's houses. I have done that because I'm crazy and it's really heavy and cumbersome to bring to people's houses, but it is really better just to sit on a table or sit somewhere stationary. Okay, so this mat is actually pretty wide. So if you have a table, I don't remember the standard width of a massage table, but if you have a wider table, it's going to fit better because I have had a couple therapists where their table was a little bit too thin and the edges of this mat were just hanging off a little bit. But even though that was the case, she said it was fine because actually, when the client lays on the mat, it stabilizes it. And so she said she was thinking about buying a wider table, but she didn't because it ended up just being fine. But all this to say, it is a little bit wide. You are going to want to check the dimensions of your table and the dimensions of this width. Also, you're going to want to put something soft on top of this because they're laying on rocks. So, what I recommend for that is a real fleece pad. I'm not big into these plastic fleeces or memory foam, only because you're heating up a bunch of chemicals and they're laying on hot chemicals. So I like real fleece, if you can get that, on top of this, so that the heat and the frequencies will still penetrate through the fleece, but it'll still be kind of cozy and soft for them to lay on the table. There's also another option, which is a little pricier. It's called the Quantum Pad, and that is basically kind of like a memory foam, but it's made out of natural materials. I believe that's like $450. And that would also be sufficient for padding on top of this, but still allow the heat and the frequencies to come through as well. Okay, so that's the Infinity Mat. Again, I think that one's a no-brainer if you just want to switch out, upgrade your heating pad, and have it be a more therapeutic experience. You could upcharge if you want to upcharge. If you already raised your rates recently, you can just say this is included. It's up to you. I'm going to share just a couple other things that I think would make sense for a massage therapist. So I love this tool a lot. This is called the Infinity Wand. It's a combination of terahertz frequencies and red light and blue light, and it has all the gemstone frequencies and gold and silver ionic exchange. Oh my, which is a mouthful, but basically it's a tool that you can use as a heat tool. So there's different heat settings. There's actually no heat, which would be the cool setting if you didn't want any heat. And then there's a low, medium, and high heat. I almost never use the high heat because it's really hot, but instead of using like hot stones or heating pad or whatever other heat that you would use to warm up the tissues, that's not something they're laying on, you could also use this to heat up. Like, so I like to use heat, I guess because I worked in Connecticut for so many years and it's freezing half the year, that I would try to defrost people as soon as they come in. So I like this tool for heat, but also terahertz is the frequency that healthy cells resonate at. And that means it helps to get rid of unhealthy cells and stimulate new stem cells. So cell turnover. And that also, in a nutshell, just means it speeds up the healing process. So if people have these stubborn places of aches and pains, or where they're feeling slow to heal, and we want to speed that up, then you can do some spot treatment, a couple minutes, maybe over a sore shoulder, over a sore knee. It's really nice up and down along the spine. So you can use this integrated into your massage session to just add value. Save your hands because you're just basically holding this tool. The way it works is there's a quartz crystal tube in the middle and they blow air through the tube. So because it's blowing air, it kind of sounds like a hair dryer. I'm just gonna say that right now. So if you are a little annoyed by the sound of air moving through a quartz crystal tube because it sounds kind of like a hair dryer, then it's not sound pleasing, but the benefit is actually amazing. I do have some crazy testimonials that I've seen with this tool in particular. One, fast pain relief. I mean, Scott and I have had multiple aches and pains where it's like level 7 pain, and just in 5 minutes, we can get it down to a level 2 pain. So, fast pain relief is like the number one testimonial. I had, I guess, one of the craziest testimonials. My friend was diagnosed with cancer and she went through chemo and radiation, and she was told that she would never have children because most likely the chemo and radiation would make her infertile. She was like 34 years old. Well, she had a terahertz wand and she decided to kind of help her body heal and recover and just hopefully maybe detox some of the chemo out of her system. She was using the wand every day over her body, but mostly over her abdomen. And a couple months later, she was pregnant and she had a healthy baby. So that's like a crazy testimonial of just, I think some of these tools do things that we don't even realize are possible. So I love stories like that. You can also use this to structure water if you're into structuring water. If you have water for your clients, it just makes the molecules in the water spread apart less clumpy, so it's more hydrating and absorbable. So that's a terahertz wand. They do make a stand with the terahertz wand where you can just put it in a rotating stand and walk away. There is a woman I know who uses this a lot in her sessions. So you place the wand in the stand, it rotates back and forth. Let's just say it's rotating back and forth along one of your clients' back, like up and down the spine. And you can walk out of the room and let the wand do the work for a little bit, or you can work on the feet or something else while the wand is doing some work. So that's another cool thing that massage therapists have implemented into their practice. Do you guys have any questions about any of the Infinity tools so far? The other one that may be of interest would be the foot detox. Let's go to the foot detox. Okay. Yes. Okay, you've seen the water ones, right? This is not a water one. Okay, this is frequency. It's radio frequency. And so all you do is put your feet in this machine, and I believe it's a radio frequency that raises your core temperature, giving someone like an artificial fever. without feeling sick. So it raises your core temperature, and kind of like a fever, when you have a fever, you're burning off viruses, bacteria, parasites, anything that doesn't need to be there. So it's actually really good for people who have maybe a low core temperature, which is almost all the elderly, or anyone who feels like maybe they're autoimmune, struggle with their immune system. So it kind of gives you, yeah, an artificial fever. There's a waistband, same thing. You can wrap it around your waist and it'll heat up. And that's how it's a detox, because it's giving you a fever, you're burning off all these parasites and toxins and, harmful microorganisms, and then your body just naturally flushes them out. They're going to want to drink a lot of water. But it's just another service that you could offer. I don't know if any of your clients will want to buy this, but if they do, it's a $608 commission, which is also really nice. And also the Infinity Wand, if any of your clients wanted to buy that, that's $592. So because these are higher price points, the commissions are higher too on the mat, the wand, and this foot detox. So, the foot detox could be something that they start the session and then do the massage, or the massage and then the foot detox. And again, you can just walk out of the room while they're doing it. These are kind of like hands-free options if you were to have this be a service all by itself. Um, so that was like another interest, is like, hey, can we just actually set this up as a service by itself? Yes, you can. You don't even have to attach this to massage if you don't want to. Okay, and then there's one more thing I want to share. Again, if you have any questions about these things, let me know. I'll just keep rambling otherwise. AOScan subscription. Okay, so this is that bioresonance software I was talking about. Um, it's a software. You just log into this app on your phone or your laptop or your tablet. And so this is where we kind of get into both bioresonance scans and another type of frequency therapy. This can all be done remotely. So you can do it in session if you want to with the client, but you can also work with people all over the country, all over the world remotely. And that was also appealing to me, during 2021, coming out of 2020, because I think we were all during 2020 wondering, can I do anything remotely? Well, here's something that's really cool. So these are all just different features of a software. Let me first share with you Inner Voice, because it's the most easily understandable and popular feature. It's custom sound healing. So when your client speaks into the software for 10 seconds, the software is going to analyze the frequencies and the tones in their voice, and then it's going to create music that's going to balance out their emotions and their brain with the correct tones and the notes and frequencies in the music. So it's custom sound healing music, which is really cool. So this is kind of an example of what the report would look like. They see, here's your 4 tones. You just press the play button and then there's 4 songs. It's about 12 minutes of sound healing music. And they can listen to it when they get home. You can play it during their session. You can have it as an additional service that you offer if they want an inner voice scan before they leave for $25. You can charge for this remotely. Here's a description of, how this all works. It tells you also which emotions that are on the surface that you're having to deal with right now, whether you're suppressing emotions. There's fear, there's anger, self-validation, feeling unacknowledged. So this is really kind of interesting, because we do know that emotions are affecting our health, and music is one way that you can support them with helping them process their feelings and help them with sound. Again, some therapists play this during the session. You can loop it. It'll just play those 4 songs over and over again if you can deal with the same 12 minutes of music for a whole hour. So that's like a very popular scan that massage therapists use in their practice. I was going to ask, how do you recommend each client needs so the frequency scan helps this? You can do basically a form of muscle testing with a quick scan. So, like for example, can you see my screen? Are you guys looking at my screen? Massage therapists will enter in, let's just say their essential oils. Say you have 20 essential oils and you want to enter these into this quick scan. You can basically enter it in as like your own category. Same thing, you're going to get 10 seconds of your client's voice, and then the scanner is going to say all of your essential oils the client needs peppermint, lemon, and cypress today. And then you'll ask the client, this is what the scanner says you need today. Are you comfortable with me using these in your session? Yes. You can do that with the tools. So basically, this replaces muscle testing. If you don't know how to muscle test, you can actually just enter whatever you use in your session. It could be modalities. It could be acupressure, craniosacral, myofascial release, stretching. What does the client need today? I mean, this is if you are interested in this. Not everybody is, but it is an option. You do have like a lot of options here. A comprehensive scan can actually scan anatomy. So we have arteries, chromosomes, connective tissue. You could just scan their connective tissue. You could scan their lymph. You can scan all the muscles, and it'll tell you where they're out of balance. Maybe the torso muscles are out of balance. You can scan nerves, basically all of their anatomy, their skeleton, and it can basically validate and confirm like my neck hurts. Yes, the scan says that your neck is out of balance. Let's focus on that today. So that's an interesting scan. So bioresonance scans are giving people information about themselves. And we all understand reflexology. Reflexology is like the map of the body on the foot, right? Well, the voice and the frequencies in your in your voice are also a map of the body. So that's why the software can just get 10 seconds of someone's voice and give this whole readout of the frequencies in their body and their emotions. And by the way, if this is your first time hearing about this, it's not new. It's been around for decades, actually. Does it affect us if we play during the session negatively? I don't think so. It's just lovely classical music, is what it sounds like. They hired a composer to create classical music. So there's some piano, there's some strings. If you're not into classical music, you might not want to play it the whole session, but it definitely won't impact you negatively. I mean, you'll have to experiment, I guess. I'm not sure if you like classical music or not. And then Cephi is basically, if you've heard of a Rife machine, Rife is Royal Raymond Rife was kind of one of the pioneers of frequency, and that he studied all of the frequencies of the body and what are the frequencies that we can expose the body to that would create balance. And so the way it was explained to me are there's all these blueprint frequencies now in these databases based off of his work. And for example, let's just say your liver really should be vibrating at a certain frequency if it's healthy. And if it's hot, too high or too low, it's not in homeostasis. And so we want to bring a correcting frequency or an optimizing frequency to bring it back to balance. And so all of this has already been categorized in these like huge databases. There's frequencies for everything in here. There's frequencies for pain, there's frequencies for stress, um, there's frequencies for almost every medical condition. So, for example, if a client came in with migraine and a sports injury, I can create a list of frequencies for migraines and sports injuries and the bubonic plague. um, like almost anything you can think of. So there's just all these databases of frequencies. So for example, you can create a playlist. I have one here for stress and pain relief. And let's say the client is my dog. Okay? Which I do use these on my dog all the time. But say, let's just pretend that's your client there that we're sending this to. It's going to broadcast these frequencies to their energy field, and you can do this remotely. How does that work? A lot of the stuff is mimicking nature or us. So even red light and infrared, we get those frequencies from the sun. That's natural. We get that from the sun. They have just somehow created these tools to take that particular wavelength and put it in a tool. And so even we are all capable of distance healing, right? Or prayer. You can think of someone and you can send them your intention, and we're all connected through the quantum field. And there's been studies around prayer proving that, us sending good intentions to people or places around the world, there's distance healing, it's proven. And so these technologies are also capable of doing the same thing, where your client's profile information is in here. You're saying we're going to broadcast these frequencies to their body, whether you're on your table or whether they're at home, and you can support them with these frequencies in between their sessions. So some massage therapists will use this software with their clients to help them in between their sessions, or if they want some of that sound healing music in between their sessions. And some people can create their own like memberships for these things. Anyway, the AO scan is a learning curve, I will say, because there is so many features that you can utilize. There's like self-hypnosis. AO Mind Sync is where we're trying to program your subconscious with more positive, belief systems around your health or pain or whatever, abundance. So that is a really brief overview of the software subscription, and that is $149 a month. So let's get into how do you get started, right? How do you get started? In order for you to be a distributor and actually sell these things and make money off of these things, you do need to be on some kind of auto ship, which is $149 a month. I recommend the AO Scan subscription, which is $149 a month. And then the other fee on top of that, just to be transparent about fees, is $49 for the year. So let me put that in chat. It's $149 a month and $49 for the year. And then that gives you your own website and your own ability to share these things and earn commissions. So what are you going to pay for $149 a month? I recommend either the AO Scan subscription, if any of that was of interest to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I could totally nerd out over that. Great. That's what I do. I pay for the AO Scan subscription and I use that software for myself personally and in my practice. Or if you're like, I'm not sure if I'm into the software, I'm really into the red light tools. Well, the 660 band, that wristband, is also $149 a month, and you could just have that on auto ship. And basically, every time a red light band comes to you, you can sell one of those to your clients and, earn on that. So I've given massage therapists kind of those two options. They have other products that I'm not even going to go over in this webinar. Like they have supplements and things. They have a collagen product if you are interested in collagen for clients like soft tissue healing. But generally, you would be needing to pay for something, whether it's a subscription or a tool or something else, at $149 a month. I hope that makes sense. That just gives you the ability to be a distributor and have your own website and earn commissions. If you were like, I don't know if I want to sell these things yet, but I'm interested in bringing some of these tools into my practice or even just for my own self-care, that's fine. You can also do that and you would be paying full price. So when you are on some kind of subscription, like the AO Scan subscription, you do get loyalty pricing is what it's called. So for example, the Infinity Mat retail would be at $1,600. But if you're on some kind of subscription with the software or a red light tool, now you're paying $1,200 for the mat. And also, if you are on some kind of subscription for 3 months, they give you a 30% off coupon. And so a lot of the massage therapists that sign up on the subscription are trying to just get started with something, maybe the red light band, they will wait for their 30% off coupon and then they'll buy these, larger infinity tools like the wand or the mat or the foot detox because they get, 30% off of 1200. It takes it down to like 900 something. So that's another way that you can get these tools at an even lower price. I like all of this for massage therapists, just again to either add to your service if you're gonna charge for it on your service menu as an add-on or a separate service, and or if you're gonna sell these things to your clients, which if it's already in your practice and you're using it in session, makes it easy to sell to your clients to use at home. So it's like try before you buy, right? Okay. So that covers the overview of the frequency tools. Um, like I said, I think the red light tools and the infinity tools are really exceptional. All the massage therapists I've encouraged to use these are really happy, and the subscription too. I'm going to post the link in chat so you guys can look at this link, go over the things that I talked about, ask me some questions. You can feel free to DM me or email me. And then if you want me to take a look at your practice, I am offering a special for all of you guys. I have something called a massage success review. This is where you fill out a questionnaire, and it's all of this information about your practice based on the 4 pillars of success: your mindset, your techniques, your self-care, and your business, and especially your business goals. And then I'm going to go over this with you, and I'm going to share some of my best tips and advice on how I feel like you can improve your practice and help you reach your goals. We all have goals. Maybe if you're growth driven, you're super ambitious and you want to keep growing always. So then I'm going to be able to help you with that on the Massage Success Review. And you can use coupon code FALL50. And that gives you the success review at $23.50 instead of $47. And also, if you want to ask me any more questions about frequency tools or earning commissions from Solex or any of this stuff, you can also talk to me about that on the Massage Success Review call that we go over. I also use the Massage Success Review to see if we might be a good fit for coaching. So if you've never had a coach, if you've been interested in a coach, if you're thinking to yourself, I could use a coach right now, the Massage Success Review is the best place to start, and we can talk about that as an opportunity. I do have some open spots for coaching clients right now, and so that would be the process to get started there. I hope you guys got a pretty good overview on how you could potentially bring frequency tools into your practice, how this relates to your career at this time. And then also, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you are kind of in this retirement phase, maybe where you are not wanting to do as much massage, maybe you want to do some of these frequency services and or thermography, I can also set up a call for thermography if that piqued your interest when I mentioned it in the beginning. So let me know in DM or in comments or in email, however you want to contact me. My email is melinda@melindalou.com. You can find me in my Facebook group, LMT Success Community, and of course on Instagram, Melinda Lou Mentor. And that is it for tonight, you guys. Any questions, any thoughts? Did you learn something new? Are you excited? What are you excited about? Which one sounds really cool to you? Yay for tools. Yes, they help. They work. They do a great job. And again, just as a reminder, it's holiday season, right? So maybe some of your clients might want to buy things as gifts for themselves or their family. All right, we're going to sign off. Have a good night, everybody. Bye. Cool.